Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math.
Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're learning about percent word problems. We're going to solve each problem. So, if I was given this problem, what percent of 126 is 22? Okay? So I always like to convert this into a question. What percent, right, variable say x, what percent of multiplication 126 is 22? Okay? So now we're going to solve for x. Well, multiplication, opposite of that, division, divide by 126 to both sides, and I'm left with x equal to 0.175. Okay, so with x being 0.175, we can convert that to a percent, and that's 17.5%. And there we have our answer. 17.5% of 126 is 22. 81 is 56% of what? Okay? Well, let's convert this into an equation, right? 81 is equal sign 56%, right? 56%, which we can write as a decimal, 0.56 of multiplication, our variable x, what we're looking for, okay? Now we just solve for x. So we divide by 0.56 to both sides, and we get an answer here of 81 divided by 0.56 is 144.6, okay? And that's equal to our x, okay? So my final answer is just 144.6. 25.7, it is what percent of 141, okay? Well, 25.7 is what percent of 141? Let's write this as an equation. 25.7 is what percent, x, which we need to find, of 141. Let's do multiplication right there, okay? Now we're going to solve for x. Well, I divide both sides by 141 to get x by itself, okay? And that gives me an x value that's equal to, all right, 0.182, okay? Well, we can convert that to be a percent, because that's what we're looking for, and that's 18.2%. And so that is my final answer. 25.7 is 18.2% of 141. 17% of what is 156, okay? So let's convert this to an equation. 17% as a decimal is 0.17 of what multiplied by x, the variable here, is 156. It is being equal. All right, equals to, right? Equal sign. So now solve for x. When we divide, right, 0.17 to both sides, and we're left with x equals a number 917.6, and so that is our final answer, 917.6. 46 is what percent of 107? Okay, so let's write this word problem as an equation. 46 is equal sign what percent x of 107, okay? So we're going to solve for that x, okay? Well, to do so, we just divide by 107 to both sides. 107 to both sides. And we're left with x by itself, and that's going to equal a decimal here of 46 divided by 107 is 0.43. Now we can convert that to a percent, which is 43%. And there we have our final answer. 79.9 is 99% of what? Okay? So, first thing here is I want to convert this to an equation. 79.9 is equal sign 99% as a decimal, 0.99 of multiplied what? Our variable x here, okay? Now let's solve for x. Well, we divide 0.99 to both sides because that's the opposite of multiplication, 0.99. This leaves me x by itself. 79.9 divided by 0.99 comes out to be 80.7. And so there is our final answer. 79.9 is 99% of 80.7. 62% of what is 89.3? Okay. Well, first let's write this as an equation. 62% decimal 0.62 of what my variable x is equal sign 89.3. Okay. Now we solve for x. Well, opposite of multiplication, division. Divide by 0.62 to both sides. And we're left with x equals, I've written down here, 144. 89.3 divided by 0.62. And there we have our final answer, 144. What percent of 137.4 is, writing over here, 96. Okay? So let's write this as an equation. What percent my variable of multiplication 137.4 is equal sign 96. Okay? Now we have to solve for x. Well, first thing here, opposite of multiplication, division. Divided by 137.4 to both sides. And I'm left with x equals, I have it right here, 0.699. All right, now we have to write that as percent, right? We have to find the percent here, and that converts to a 69.9%, and there is my final answer. 30% of 117 is what? Okay? Well, first, let's take this word problem and write it as an equation. Now, 30% we write as a decimal, 0.30, of multiplication 117, okay, is equal sign what? Let's say our variable x, what we need to find. So what's 0.30 times 117? Well, that's 35.1, and that's equal to our x value. So our answer here is 335.1, and so 30% of 117 is 35.1. 11 is what percent of 97? Okay? So 11 is what percent of 97? Well, let's write this as an equation. 11 is equal sign what percent, x percent, that's what we're kind of looking for, right? It's percent of multiplication 97, okay? Well, now we have to solve for x, okay? So opposite of multiplication, division, divide by 97 to both sides, and we get the decimal 0.113, and that's equal to x, all right? It's not a percent yet. We have decimal 11 divided by 97 is 0.113. Now, convert that to a decimal, move the percent, move the decimal place 2 points to the right, so we have 11.3%, and there is my final answer. 11 is 11.3% of 97. 120% of 118 is what? Okay? Well, we have 120% of 118 is what? Let's write this as an equation, okay? 120% as a decimal is 1.20 of multiplication 118 is equal sign what? Variable x. So now we have 1.20 times 118. That comes out to be 141.6 is equal to x. And so my answer is 141.6. 120% of 118 is 141.6. 25 is what percent of 37? So 25 is what percent of 37? All right, let's write this as an equation. 25 is equal sign what percent x of multiplied by 37. All right, now we just have to solve for x, and remember x is a percent here. So opposite multiplication, division. Divide 37 to both sides. We get x by itself on the right. On the left, we get a 0.676. All right. Now, to convert that to a decimal or a percent, move the decimal place 2 spots to the right. So we have 67.6% as our final answer. What is 270% of 60? Okay. So what is 270% of 60? Well, let's go write this as an equation. Convert the word problem to an equation. So what our variable x is equal sign 270% as a decimal is 2.70 of multiplication 60. Okay? So x equals 2.70 times 60. We solve for x. 2.70 times 60, all right, is a 162. And so there is our answer, 162. 162 is 270% of 60. I'm Sean Gann, and this is Minute Math. And today we're learning about percent word problems. We're going to solve each problem. So if I was given this problem, 73% of what is 156.4, okay? So 73% of what is 156.4. Let's write this as an equation first, okay? 73% as a decimal is 0.73 of multiplication x. What we're looking for, the variable, is equal sign 156.4, okay? So now we have to solve for x. Well, we have multiplication here. Opposite multiplication is division. We divide by 0.73 to both sides. Then, try to get x, we got x by itself here. X equals 156.4 divided by 0.73 is 214.2. And so there is my final answer. 73% of 214.2 is 156.4. 87% of 41 is what? Okay, so 87% of 41 is what? Well, let's go write this as an equation. Convert this, right? 87% as a decimal is 0.87 of multiplication 41 is equal sign what? The variable x. Let's just use x here, right? Now let's solve for x. Well, 0.87 times 41 is 35.7. And there we have it. That's equal x. So my final answer is 35.7. 9 is what percent of 84? So 9 is what percent of 84? Okay? Well, what we want to do is convert this to an equation, okay? So 9 is equal sign what percent, x is going to be a percent of multiplied 84, okay? That's it. Now let's go solve for x. Opposite of 84, our multiplication is division. Divide by 84 to both sides. I am left with a decimal. 0.107 is equal to x. To convert that to be a percent, move the decimal place 2 spots to the right. We have 10.7% here. And there is our final answer. 9 is 10.7% of 84. What percent of 88.6 is 70? Okay, so what percent of 88.6 is 70? So let's write this as an equation. What percent x of multiplication 88.6 is equal sign 70. Okay? So now let's go solve for x. Well, opposite of multiplication, division. Divide by 88.6 to both sides. Okay? Then I got x by itself, okay, equals 70 divided by 88.6 is 0.79. Okay? Now we have to convert that to be a percent. Remember, x is our percent, so 2 decimal places to the right, I have 79% there, and there we have our final answer. 79% of 88.6 is 70. What percent of 137 is 86? Okay, so what percent of 137 is 86? Okay, so let's write that as an equation here. Okay, what percent x of multiplication 137 is equal sign 86? Okay, so now let's go solve for x. Opposite of multiplication, division. Divide by 137 to both sides. Less of x by itself here. 86 divided by 137 is 0.628. Okay, so now I take that decimal and I need to convert it to a percent, right? 2 decimal places to the right, so we have 62.8% as our final answer.
Minute Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math, Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.